So, does anybody have a question about this whole thing? I mean, basically, you're here because, in my opinion, and David was asking about this, people are very hungry to know what's really going on because it's so hard to swim through right now. How are you supposed to know what's going on in this business with 300 brands of guitars? I mean, it's really hard to understand. Yes, sir.
Stainless steel versus nickel silver.
Okay, so there is no silver in nickel silver. Did you know that? Why would they put silver in a guitar fret? I mean, the people be melting it down, making it, taking it to the jewelry store. Right? It's mostly German nickel silver is mostly nickel. Okay, stainless steel is mostly nickel. They're not that different. I think stainless steel frets are a good idea. I don't know much about the hardness of stainless steel. I do know that the stuff we use is about 190 Vickers, which is a hardened spec for a machinist. The high E string on a guitar is something like 600 Vickers. It's really hard. When they pull it through the die, it turns it into a mill bastard in terms of how hard it is. So one of the reasons frets wear is strings are harder than the frets are. Okay.
Have you changed over the years?
We've changed manufacturers of fret wires over the years because sometimes we'll get the fret wire where the tang is not square to the bottom of the bead, and when you put the fret in, it sticks up on one side and not the other, and when their jigs get out of alignment, it's completely out of bounds, we can't use it, and we beg them to fix it, and when they don't fix it, we have to change manufacturers. Most fret wires made by the eyeglass frame wire manufacturers, because it's the same thing for pulling stuff through dies. It is true that nickel silver will corrode in the summertime in a very humid house, and you've got to take green Scotch Brite or steel wool and clean it. That's true. I don't know enough about stainless steel to be able to tell you, but I can tell you that nickel silver and stainless steel are kissing cousins in terms of their makeup. Mostly nickel, some copper. You can go on the internet and look at what the materials are, but even the fret wire manufacturers are not readily telling you exactly what their secret formula is.
It's like Brian May claims he's never refretted that red special.
That may very well be. I've actually taken the red special apart, but that's a whole other discussion.
How does he get that kind of life? I've got a couple of Hardys.
I don't know what, that guitar was made a really long time ago before they were making stainless steel frets, so I don't know.
Stainless steel fret wire is about half again as hard as nickel.
It's 1.5 times as hard as nickel, but it all has to do with the temper when they're drawing it.
Yes.
And so it's not
That's
that
where most
simple.
of it's created. Through
The fact that we can even have this discussion and you're asking about it is exactly what I'm trying to illuminate. I'm in a discussion right now with fret wire manufacturers around this exact issue, and I wouldn't know what you guys are talking about unless I was deeply invested in this art of making guitars. And believe me, I want David and Mark Tremonti and Carlos and everybody else to be extraordinarily pleased with their instruments. They can buy any instrument they want, old, new, millions of vintage guitars, whatever. And my job is to make the very first guitar they go for when the lights are out, the one that I made. That's my job. If they don't go for it, I didn't do my job. I don't look at it as a victim. Well, you didn't play my guitar. I look at it like, yeah, I didn't do my job, right? So, all this stuff's important. I don't know if I'm going to switch over to stainless steel frets or not. I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about leveling it. I don't know enough about the materials yet. And it's just starting to catch on. And most of the people are not making the size that I want in that material. So I'm going to have to look into it. And I'm leaning more and more into maybe changing. But right now what we're using is pretty good stuff. To the point, a lot of the repairmen in the country call me up, hey Paul, can I get some of that fret wire? So see, that kind of question really helps me because it illuminates exactly what I'm talking about. Does anybody else have anything that they wanted to just sort of back? No. Okay. What's the next one?
What is the distinction associated with artist mahogany?
Artist mahogany?
As opposed to other standard mahogany that's used in other guitars that you sell with mahogany as the base part of the body.
All right, look. When the economy took a dump, we had squirreled woods away for over a decade. And we said we're saving it for a rainy day. It rained. Bad. So we built something called a wood library and invited the whole world to come. And John, did you come early on when that whole thing happened?
As soon as I was a dealer, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as he was a dealer, he was coming. So Dave's Guitars in La Crosse, Wisconsin, the first people to show up and order 35 guitars from me because they could go through all the wood we'd scrolled away. So then, that was called the wood library. It became very clear that the dealers were trying to game the system. They were trying to figure out a way, how could they make a guitar in core that looked like private stock? And they would just eat at it a little piece. Can we get a private stock color? Can we get a private stock top? Can we get an artist grade top? Can we get this? Can we get that? And they were smart enough to start to configure the guitars so they looked like private stocks. We went, whoa, 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 whoa. So we divided the libraries into two. Now there's the vault for private stock and the wood library for artist tops. What happens is a dealer comes to our factory and they go through all the artist tops, all the artist grade mahogany necks, all the fretboards, all this, and they configure a limited run for their store. Have you done that for yourself, John?
Yes, we have one right now.
Okay, so there's one here right now. So, and it gives them a little bit of an exclusive because they pick this woods out for their customers for you, okay? When they say artist mahogany, it was really nice mahogany that was in the artist library. It's not like it was that curly. It wasn't like it had some sort of ridiculous spalted figure in it, whatever it is. We do tap on the stuff, but we're finding that mahogany in general, when you tap on it, rings pretty well. There's one wood that's very strange. Maple makes wonderful guitars, and it doesn't ring very long, which is an anomaly that I don't really understand. But when it says artist mahogany, it's because they got it out of the artist library, out of the wood library. It's not any more than that. Some of the other stuff, like the artist curly maple, we grade the curly maple in collection grade, private stock, artist grade, 10 top, custom, CE, S2. We have all these different grades of curl. And it literally is like in the ocean. When you have the waves really gentle, that's S2. When it gets a little higher, it would be custom. When it's even higher, it's 10 top, right? And when you've got waves that are 17 feet high, you've got private stock grade, right? That's how it works. So, this guitar, when it's black, the grain's going down. When it's white, the grain's going this way, then it's going down. It's literally growing like waves. In a quilted top, it'll come up and then go back down, come up, and you get these little straight lines in it. So it's like a sine wave and then a triangle wave, and then a sine wave and a triangle wave. Just like the waves in the ocean. Very often there's a crest, right? It's not that much, that dissimilar. The higher the wave, the more we charge for it, the more it costs us. And I'm sorry, I've never seen a stupid curly guitar, in terms of stupid curl, beautiful curl, not sell. They always sell. They just disappear on us. So, does that answer your question about artist grade mahogany?
All gorgeous, typically.
Oh,
Thank you.
good.